I hear this same loud roar of frustration from church staff all across the country all the time. Here it is. Our people just aren't responsive to training. They're not interested. They don't want to be developed and they just don't have time. The bottom line is our people are not motivated to be developed as leaders. Well, if this is your problem, then stay tuned because I'm going to give you some solutions today to help increase the motivation level of your people for leadership development. Hey guys, this is Mac Lake bringing you tips, tools, and techniques for developing more and better leaders. Okay, you get a sense that your people just aren't interested in leadership development. They make excuses of why they can't participate in your training. They say they're going to come, but they don't show up. Or they just flat out tell you, I don't need this. So what can you do to motivate your leaders to participate in ongoing development? Let me give you a few ideas. Number one, listen to and leverage their pain points. Most of the time when we put together training, let's be honest, what we do is we wait till the last minute, we pick a training topic we think they need, we put some sort of training together real quick. In other words, we decide what they need rather than going to them and asking them what they need to grow in their leadership. We have to involve them in the process. So it's so important to talk to them about where they want to grow in their leadership. I mean, you've heard this saying, people support a world they help create. So what you have to do is go to them and ask them, where do you think our ministry area leaders need to grow in their leadership? Ask them, interview them, survey them, find out what they're interested in. What are their frustrations? What are their pain points? What are they struggling with in their leadership? And listen, don't just ask them about their leadership at church. Ask them where they're struggling in their leadership at home, at work, as well as ministry. And when you find out what their pain points are, you can target training towards those, and they're going to be much more motivated to participate. And once you know what their pain points are, you can promote your training to address the emotions they're feeling, not just the skills they need. So let's say that you survey them and you find out they want training in dealing with difficult people. Now, when you invite them to the training, you don't just say, hey, our training at this time is going to be on dealing with difficult people. No, you highlight their internal feelings. You highlight their internal frustrations. For example, you say, hey, in this next training, do you ever get discouraged because the people on your team aren't getting along? Or do you ever get frustrated because that one person on your team is disrupting team unity? Well, in this month's training, we're going to learn 5 secrets for dealing with difficult team members. You see, when you listen to them about what they need, you can leverage that to increase a sense of motivation for them to participate in the training. Because now it's hitting that emotion, it's hitting that felt need. Number 2, make your training relevant to their life. One of the biggest mistakes we make in doing leadership development is we're simply teaching people how to turn our ministry widget. Imagine the value it would add if we were teaching them not to turn a ministry widget, but teaching them to live a biblical lifestyle of leadership at work, at home, as well as church. Think about the typical volunteer leader. They're giving you about 1 to 3 hours a week, but they're leading 40 to 50 hours a week at work, and who knows how many hours a week they're leading at home. So make your leadership development relevant to all aspects of their lives. When I first started doing leadership development in the church years ago, I was teaching my leaders effective delegation techniques, goal-setting processes, communication approaches, all from a biblical perspective. And I was shocked when these leaders were coming back to me and they were telling me, hey, I'm using this at my office. I'm using this at my business. I'm using this at my school, because they found it relevant to leadership, to their leadership beyond ministry, and that motivated them to participate. We have to understand this. People value what adds value to them. So if people are not showing up to your training, we have to ask the question, is it adding value to their lives and their leadership? If you want to increase their level of motivation, you have to increase the level of relevance of your training. Number 3, create and share a development plan. I remember the first time I ever did this. It was huge for our leaders. We chose several leadership competencies our leaders could grow in, and we created simple training huddles around those topics. Now, imagine the power of surveying your leaders, seeing their leadership pain points, and then a couple months later saying, hey, you guys spoke, we listened, so this year we're going to help all of our leaders grow in these 5 areas. Caring for the souls of your team, dealing with challenging people, building a high-performance team, growing the character of your team, using delegation to develop more leaders. Whatever it is they ask for, okay? What you do is you gather those, put those out, build little training huddles around those, put that out among your leaders and say, hey, here's what we're going to help you grow in your leadership this year. It's what you asked for, okay? And we're delivering this to you. And these will help you grow, not just in your ministry, but in your leadership at home and at work too. Guys, when leadership development is intentional, it has a greater impact. So if your church is looking for a way to become more intentional about developing leaders, that's what the Leadership Pipeline Consulting I do is all about. And you can learn more about that by clicking the link in the description below. I'd love to help you and your church develop an intentional leadership development strategy. Hey, thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you in next week's video.